Testing, testing. Hello. Hello. Seems to be working now. Um, hey guys, it's me. It's PAT here. Today decided to do something a little different. Maybe do a little, live stream and stuff. Um, I haven't really talked about my trip to Chicago on here yet, so I really wanted to kind of talk about that, and really wanted to figure out a way to talk about that on video, but I wasn't really able to. Up until now. I was like, you know what? I'll do a live stream for it. And yeah, that's pretty much how the inspiration of this video came to be. Um, I guess I'll talk about the trip. I think back in April this year, we were talking about, I was talking to Jared to WWE about going to, maybe going to an NXT takeover. Like, we were like, let's go to Takeover Chicago. So, like, okay. He couldn't go, unfortunately. But what we did was we ended up like I ended up going to our group chat. I was like, "Hey, who all wants to go to Chicago?" Um, so a few people said maybe. Some people said no. It's like I was like, "Okay, I need to know by this certain date, and then we will go." Um, the initial trip was just going to be for NXT Chicago. It wasn't going to be for Money in the Bank. It wasn't going to be a big, super big ass thing. But we ended up making it into a pretty big trip. Um, so what it was me? It was Will Poor, who it was my buddy Will Poor, and then Bo, who's been on the channel before. You know him from the Berbers podcast. Um, so how we had it worked: Will would drive down, pick me up, and then we'd go to NXT with Bo. Bo would stick around for a little bit, and then he would go back home, and then we would go to Angola to visit our friends up there. Um, because a couple of them couldn't go, so we're like, hey, let's go visit them instead. So we ended up doing that. So um, for the NXT takeover, it was me, Will, and Bo. Will came down Friday. I think it was Friday afternoon. Picked me up. We drove up to Chicago. It took about 4 hours. It wasn't too bad. And then we went to say we stopped in Lafayette. I think on the way there, stopped in IHOP or something like that. The home of Ruby Riot, I should say. Then we stopped in Chicago. We stayed at our Airbnb, and yeah, we stayed at the Airbnb. The Airbnb was pretty good. It was pretty solid Airbnb. It was cheap. It was exactly what we needed to last for the trip. Um, then Saturday morning, we kind of just chilled out a little bit. It was just me and Will at this point. Bo was flying in, so he flew in. I think he landed around 12:30 or 1 o'clock in Central Time Zone. So we waited for him. We met up with him. It was the first time I met these two in person, by the way. So it was pretty cool. Um, the first thing we did was we went to the Pro Wrestling Tees shop in Chicago. I gotta say, if you're a wrestling fan, that is one of the freaking coolest stores in history. Like that store is so cool. Like there's no there's perfect premise for store. Store with nothing but wrestling. It's great. If you love indie wrestling, definitely I would recommend going to Pro Wrestling Tees, the store. I've ordered from Pro Wrestling Tees before, and they've always been good to me. I don't order from them that often. I usually order from WWE Shop or WWE Shop through Amazon. But whenever I really want a shirt of an indie person or somebody who just came to WWE, I'll order it from Pro Wrestling Tees. So we went to the store. I forget what Will got. If Bo got like a botched box. So what a botched box is like shirts they messed up on, and they give you three random shirts in there. He got like a Terry Funk shirt out of it, and a Juice Robinson shirt, and maybe a couple others. Then I ended up getting a CM Punk shirt. I got a Tennille and Dashwood or Emma shirt, and I ended up special ordering an Evie or Dakota Kai T-shirt that I would wear at NXT Chicago. Um, I got that, and then Will got a couple things. I think he got the same Punk shirt that I did, and maybe a couple other things. Um, Then we got food, we got groceries for our Airbnb. We then kind of like chilled out until NXT Takeover that night, and it was at the Allstate Arena in Chicago. I got to say, NXT Takeover was a phenomenal show. One of the best shows I think I have ever been to. Um, Definitely a great, 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 great show. I love NXT. NXT right now, a lot of people. It's hard to believe NXT is probably at its best point ever right now. You can argue 2015, 2015 2015, 2016 was great for NXT, but I feel like now the NXT takeovers have like exceeded all of the expectations, and now we're the best they've ever been. So that's just my opinion. You guys can think whatever you want, but I'll go through each match, I guess, on each show. First match that we saw live was actually no, we met up before that. We met up with our buddy Heyman guy up there. He was cool. He brought a beach ball. I'll bring that up again later. Um, First match, we actually we got pretty good seats for. We got decent seats for Takeover. We got upper bowl, but in the Allstate Arena, upper bowl is like you still pretty decent seats. Like it's not really nosebleeds because it's got a perfect view of the ring. And the tickets were only like $20 a piece plus fees and stuff and insurance. So it was like $42 for the tickets for each of them. So that's a pretty good deal. But the first match was the War Raiders versus the Mighty. I'm not really a big fan of either of these teams, but the War Raiders won from what I remember, and that was a decent match. Second match was before the show, before Takeover. This was like the taping before. It was Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair. This match was really good. Dakota Kai is one of my favorite females in WWE right now, so that was pretty cool to see her wrestle live. And Bianca Belair is a very good talent. If you haven't seen her, definitely go check out some of her stuff on NXT. She is really good. Definitely the future of the company, in my opinion, in terms of the females. But Bianca won that match. It's whatever. Got to see Dakota wrestle. I mean, hell yeah. If there's one thing I would have changed about the show, it would have been have Adam Cole wrestle on it, but he didn't wrestle, but he did make an appearance. So I mean, I kind of made up for it a little bit. But the first match, my surprise match of the night was Undisputed Era versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. If you watched my wrestling kind of thing, I talked about this during that, and that match was one of my favorite matches I've seen this year. It was so surprising. It was such a good match. Definitely watch it. I gave it 5 out of 5. Great opening match. Great opener. Adam Cole, baby. Well, that was pretty cool to do. Yeah. Um, Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream was another really good match. Velveteen is just at a whole new level. He's just so good. And he's only 22 years old, which is the most impressive part. And Ricochet is one of the best wrestlers in the world. So this match was really good. It was just the match was just very very good match. Not 5 stars, but I would give it maybe a 4.5. It was still a very good match. Definitely would go ahead and watch it. It's still better than most of the stuff on main WWE, anyways. So I would definitely go check it out. Now the beach ball. The beach ball during the Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross match. This was obviously the no offense to them, the weakest match on the card. But our buddy threw a beach ball during the match. You gotta have a lot of balls to throw a beach ball, by the way. But he threw a beach ball during the match, and it's NXT. Like if it was any other show, whatever. But this is NXT. You NXT is so good. You just don't throw a beach ball during it, you know. But I remember vividly saying "fuck you, beach ball" and "beach ball sucks." I believe WWE edited that out. Excuse me, edited that out. I can't speak today. In the when you watch it in WWE Network now because I can't hear the chant. That'll come up later. And I heard I remember the beach ball sucks chant. I remember a couple others, and Shayna Baszler won the match. It was not really special other than the beach ball. It's the most memorable part of the match in my eyes. Actually, other than that, other than the ending where Nikki Cross was smiling uh, as she passed out, that was interesting. Let me take a real break real quick. Okay. Um, Aleister Black and Lars Sullivan. This match was all right. It wasn't a great match. NXT title matches have been a lot better in the past, I will say, but this match wasn't too bad. Lars Sullivan, it was just kind of slow points. The infamous kick, the botched Black Mass. Um, I remember that vividly. I remember also vividly there being a "You fucked up" chant, but again, WWE edited that out, so you probably won't be able to see it on there unless somebody uploaded it on YouTube. I haven't really taken a look, or I haven't even tried to look. But yeah, it was a solid match. Not really anything special. About 3 out of 5. I don't really care. Now the main event of the show: Alice or not Alistair? Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano in Street Fight. Phenomenal match. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa have had one of the best stories in the history of wrestling. In the last year with this whole storyline. Just a great match. Definitely watch any of their matches from New Orleans or Chicago or even in Brooklyn recently. Um, all of them were wonderful matches. Definitely go check it out. Tommaso Ciampa won this match. I expected that. We also I bought in. I actually bought the last Undisputed Era armband that they had at the little thing there. Will was kind of mad about that until we found out that those things are not very good quality. No disrespect to WWE or Undisputed Era. I also got the Adam Cole Bebe T-shirt, so that's pretty cool too. But NXT Takeover was just something else. It was such a good. It was wild. The crowd was hot all night. It was one of the most fun shows I've ever been to. So after that, we went home. We were not home. We went back to the Airbnb, hung out for a little bit. Then we went to Wingstop, which is the first time I've been there. Pretty good. The next morning, we had to wake up early, drop Bo off at the airport. That's it's sad he couldn't go to my bank, but Money in the Bank was basically kind of a last minute decision. Like we were thinking we're probably gonna go to the show. We're probably gonna go, but we were gonna wait till the day of to buy tickets because tickets a couple months ahead were $200. So we waited a little bit. Ate Five Guys for the first time. It was super. It was pretty good. Um, we went to a couple stores, did whatever, and then um, now we went back to the Airbnb, and it's like, you know what? Let's just get these cheapo seats. We got like cheap seats that were behind the Titantron, but it was like, oh man, this show's gonna suck now. We this show's gonna suck now, and it's all this. But when we got there, we had a pretty good view of the ring, so it's just like I was just thinking, okay, we have a good view of the ring, so actually, I kind of stand corrected. This is going to be good. And Money in the Bank, in my eyes, was a pretty decent show. It's one of the better pay per views of the year. WWE hasn't had a lot of good pay per views this year. Um, they just really haven't. But I thought this was one of the good ones. But the first match we saw live was Luke Harper, not Luke Harper, Bludgeon Brothers versus the Good Brothers, um, Gallows and Anderson, for the SmackDown Tag Titles. Decent match, good opener. Uh, Bludgeon Brothers won, which I expected. And then now to the main card: Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. By the way, this was Big Cass's last WWE match. Um, Daniel Bryan won the match. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Like I love Dana Bryan. It was cool to see Dana Bryan wrestle live. There was a point in time where I never thought I would see him wrestle in person, but then he came back, and now I actually got to see him wrestle, and that was pretty awesome. So I'm really happy about that. But yeah, this is like I said, this is Big Cass's last WWE match. He got cut like 2 days later, for whatever reason it was. Then the second match was Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was really over, from what I remember, and it was kind of a boring match. Bobby Lashley won, and it was essentially a glorified squash match. This is also actually Sami Zayn's last match, basically of the year, because Sami Zayn apparently tore both of his rotator cuffs. Jesus, but Sami Zayn was still massively over there, so that was pretty cool. It was cool to see him again. Third match. What was the third match on the show? Was it Seth Rollins and Elias? I'm not prepared. Sorry, guys. Money in the Bank 2018. Excuse me for 1 second. Match card. Yeah, it was Seth Rollins and Elias. This is actually my match of the night. Um, great, great match between these two. I think this is Elias's best match in WWE to date. This was yeah, like I said, my favorite match on the card. Very fun match to watch. Very cool thing to do. Seth Rollins was over. Elias was over. The crowd was hot for this match. So great match overall. I really did enjoy it. Next was the women's Money in the Bank match, which was another really fun match to watch. A lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Alexa Bliss won, and don't get me wrong, Alexa went off. Um, Alexa, stop it. Okay. So what happened was Bliss. Thing is, I like Bliss, but she just gets so many title shots. It's crazy. Like she's got to be doing something to get those shots. Becky Lynch was really over in this match, by the way. Foreshadowing for future events in WWE. Alexa Bliss won the match. Whatever. I don't really care. I like Alexa, but like I said, she wins all the time. It's crazy. Roman Reigns, Jinder Mahal. I really want to talk about this match. First of all, I think the second weakest match on the card, but nobody cared about this match. Nobody cared about it. It was just boring. But nobody cared. Everybody was like chanting different things. There was a wave in there too. I gotta say, this match was fun for me, but fun for all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Like, it was fun because of all the crowd chanting and stuff. It felt like a Raw after WrestleMania in a way. Like, remember when Sheamus fought Randy Orton the one time on Raw after WrestleMania? Who's on? Oh, that's some guy. What happened was it's based. Remember Sheamus and Randy Orton from Raw after WrestleMania 29 when nobody gave a shit about the match and everybody was like chanting crazy stuff during it. It was basically that, and it was fun. Like, I feel bad for chanting against Roman and Jinder. I don't like either of them, but whatever. It's what's done is done. I can't really defend myself on that. But Roman Reigns won. Whatever. I don't care. Carmella versus Asuka. Now, I would have been mad that Asuka lost this match, and in the long run, I am. But the iconic return of James Ellsworth, that was pretty cool. I actually marked. Oh, that's my chair. Sorry. I actually marked pretty hard for James Ellsworth, being honest with you. And he only lasted in WWE again for like a month. Now that's sad. I like James Ellsworth. Carmella won, by the way. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, last man standing match. I gotta say, this is definitely in AJ and Shinsuke's best match. Like their WrestleMania match was a letdown. The Greatest Royal Rumble was all right, and the Backlash match was okay. But this one was a pretty damn good match. I really enjoyed this match. Fun match. AJ Styles won. I actually really wanted Shinsuke to win the title here, but he won the U.S. title a month later. So I guess beggars can't be choosers. Um, Next match. Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. This was really cool. Not just because it was a good match. It was cool to see Ronda Rousey wrestle live. I was like, damn, I got to see Ronda. That's pretty cool. If you don't know, I was not supportive of Ronda Rousey joining WWE. I'll admit that. But now she's one of my favorites. Not my favorite. She's one of them. She's up there. Like, I think Ronda Rousey's really good now. Like that, she's proven it. WrestleMania match was good. If you have a good, you're good if you have a good match with Nia Jax, and she did. She had a great match with Nia Jax, and unfortunately, it was a double DQ, and Alexa Bliss cashed in on Nia. I'll admit, it was pretty cool seeing that. Alexa Bliss, we got to see a Money in the Bank cash in, dude. It was awesome. No matter who it is. And now the main event. Braun Strowman, Bobby Roode, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston, Rusev, Samoa Joe, excuse me, and The Miz in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Great, great, great Money in the Bank ladder match. This was a fun match. Surprisingly, the most surprising part for me was Kofi Kingston was really over with the crowd here. That was Really interesting. Kofi Kingston was over. That was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love Kofi Kingston, but it's just interesting. Something, you know, indeed. Braun Strowman won the match. I actually didn't really expect him to win. I expected somebody like maybe the Miz to win or something. But yeah, it was still a pretty solid match. Braun Strowman won. I was pretty happy. For of course he failed to cash it in, but no, whatever. That's whatever. He won it anyways. So um, yeah. We ended up going back to the Airbnb afterwards. It was a fun. Money in the Bank was way better than what I thought it was going to be. Honestly, a lot better. Went back to Airbnb. Then the next day we drove to Angola, Indiana. We met up with our buddies up there for a couple days, and then just did whatever. Wasn't and then I went home after that. I gotta say, this trip was really, really fun. Definitely, I would love to do that again. Um, if you guys want, I'll do another live stream and I'll talk about when I went to Raw a few months back. That would be really cool. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys watched this and enjoyed it. I had fun doing this, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Please comment, thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.